My beloved, my child of light, the one heaven whispers about when the stars blink at night, listen carefully, because this is not ordinary. Only 2 minutes left. The hourglass in heaven just flipped. Archangel Michael is standing with his sword of truth, shouting your name. And God is crying out to you, don't skip this, don't make the mistake of ignoring it. Because my child, someone has written a false story about you. They have whispered a crime in your name, not because you are guilty, but because they are jealous of your blessing. And their words? Their lies? They are meant to destroy you. But listen. If you skip, their plan will succeed. If you ignore, you will pay the price of a crime you never committed. Do you see how serious this is? Michael is begging, and God himself is pleading. This message is not here by accident. It is divine interception. My beloved, your destiny is too bright, too sacred, and that's why they tried to bury it under false accusation. They thought they could chain you, but heaven has already broken those chains. Before I reveal their name, I must tell you this. Your soul already knew something was wrong. That sudden heaviness. That whisper in your dreams. That tension in your chest. It was God alerting you in advance. But He chose this moment, this message, to expose what has been hidden. Because you were never meant to suffer for their sin. You were never meant to wear the robe of shame they stitched for you. My child, pause here, breathe. Because in the next words, your world will tremble. Archangel Michael says, I will shout the truth so loud that even the demons who planned this will fall on their knees. And now, I ask you something important. Stay with me. Don't skip even a single line. Because this is where the chains of falsehood break. And before I continue, hear me clearly. This message was placed before your eyes for a reason. Don't let it slip. Don't silence heaven. And beloved, if this voice touches your soul, make sure you subscribe now, because every message sent here is not just words, it's your shield, your warning, your miracle in motion. Don't wander without heaven's covering. Stay connected, because the next message might just be the one that saves your entire destiny. Now listen. The one who accused you. They were close. They smiled at you. They pretended to care. But jealousy burned them from within, and they wanted to see you fall. Archangel Michael says, do not fear. Their lies will not win. Their name will be revealed. And justice will not only clear you, it will lift you higher than before. God says, if you stay with me, I will turn their trap into their downfall. But if you skip, you risk walking straight into the pit they dug. This is your moment, my child. Do you hear how urgent this is? Heaven is screaming for your attention. Don't scroll away. Don't silence this. Because in 2 minutes, the doors close. And once they close, the chance to know their name, the chance to protect yourself, the chance to stop the false punishment, will vanish. Archangel Michael is standing right now, sword lifted, waiting for your answer. Will you skip? Or will you claim the truth? My beloved child. The moment your eyes touched these words, heaven leaned closer. You may not realize it yet, but the veil between the spiritual and the earthly world is thinner right now than it has ever been in your life. God's hand is stretched over you, trembling with urgency. Archangel Michael's sword is already raised, shimmering with divine fire. And still, there are shadows moving against you, shadows who dared to write a false story in your name. This is not light gossip, not a small wound. No, my child. They have forged a crime, a false crime, and they have stamped your name upon it. Their intention is cruel, to bind you, to strip your dignity, and to watch you be dragged where you do not belong. Jail, that is what their envy has whispered into existence. Jail, chains, punishment for what you did not do. And yet, heaven refuses to let this destiny unfold if you will stay with this message until the very end. Do not think this is coincidence. The exact second you paused here, the heavens themselves aligned for this confrontation. God said, "Reveal it. Do not allow my child to suffer the weight of an unjust name." And Michael, who has been waiting like a lion in chains, now steps forward and declares, "Beloved, only 2 minutes remain. If you turn your eyes away, the lie will proceed unchecked. If you hold on, if you refuse to skip, the chains will shatter. The one who accused you has long smiled at your victories, only to curse you in secret. They wore friendship as a mask. They wore love as a disguise. But in their heart, they sharpened knives against you. And tonight, heaven is exposing them. Their name is not far from being revealed, but first, your faith must anchor you here, because the truth cannot be half seen, it must be fully opened, fully embraced. Do you feel that trembling inside your chest right now? That uneasy flutter that doesn't quite go away? That is your spirit recognizing the danger that was planted against you. You already knew, in some silent corner of your being, that someone was plotting. You already felt the shift in the air, the heaviness, the strange glances, the inexplicable tension. Those were not just coincidences. They were heaven's early warning signs. But this message, this is not just a whisper. It is a thunderclap from above. God Himself says, "My child, I beg you, don't skip this, or you'll be the one who pays the price." Michael adds, "Don't think this is exaggeration. I have stood at the gates of justice, and I see their plan unfolding. But if you remain, if you listen, if you hold fast, their plan will collapse, and instead of you being dragged into false punishment, it will be them who face the exposure of their hidden deeds." Imagine, for one moment, if you ignored this. Imagine walking into a trap blindfolded, unaware that someone else had written your fate. But now picture this, the blindfold falling. Your eyes opening. The liar's name revealed before you. The court of heaven turning, not against you, but for you. That is what is at stake right now, beloved. But before I tell you more, let me ask you something very important. If these words are already piercing your heart, if you feel heaven's breath moving through them, don't allow this to be a one-time encounter. Stay connected. Subscribe now, because each message that arrives here is not just text, it is a rope thrown from heaven itself, keeping you from drowning in what others wish against you. You cannot afford to miss the next warning, the next shield, the next breakthrough that is already rushing toward you. Beloved, don't drift away unguarded. Anchor yourself in the flow of these divine messages. Now, let me continue. The one who has falsely accused you is trembling too, though they would never show it. They thought their lie would be buried in secrecy. They thought the papers would be signed and the whispers would become facts. They believed no one would ever know the truth. But what they didn't know is that God writes in fire where men write in ink. He saw every whisper. He counted every false word. He recorded every step they took against you. And now, he has decided their mask will fall. Michael says, "Don't fear, beloved. Their name is written before me, and if you stay until the end, you will see what they thought could never be revealed." God's voice is breaking as he says, "I do not want my child to carry the burden of another's envy. I do not want my beloved one to be punished for a crime they never committed. Stay awake, stay present, and watch what I will do." Even now, as you are reading, the very fabric of their plan is unraveling. What they intended for evil, heaven is weaving into your protection. The lie is fragile, and your faith is the hammer that breaks it apart. The moment you remain here, the moment you don't skip, is the moment heaven strengthens your shield. So listen, because in the coming lines, their identity will not remain hidden. The chains that were meant for you will be seen for what they are, traps of envy and hatred. And instead of your name being dragged through mud, your name will shine brighter than before. This message is not just a warning, it is a deliverance. The very act of your obedience, of staying here, of opening this fully, is activating heaven's hand to strike on your behalf. Beloved, this is only the beginning. My beloved child. Heaven is still speaking. When you opened this, something in the spirit world shifted. What was hidden in silence for months, even years, began to tear apart. You may not see it yet with your natural eyes, but in the unseen, Archangel Michael has already stepped between you and the punishment that was written in falsehood. God is roaring, "No more. My child will not carry this curse. My child will not walk into chains that are not theirs." This is why your chest feels heavy, why your heart is racing, because the battle is not light. The one who accused you thought they were clever, thought no one would find out, thought their words would stick to your name like mud. But heaven does not allow lies to remain forever. Truth is a flame, and tonight it burns brighter than the darkness. The accuser is close, so close that you may not want to believe it. They walked near your table. They smiled in your presence. They pretended to clap for you when you rose higher, but behind your back, they signed their name on a paper dipped in poison. God says, "I saw it all. I recorded every word. I will not allow you to suffer the fate they planned." The false charge they have thrown on your name is not just a story, it was designed to strip your destiny, to rob your freedom, to paint you as guilty when your hands are clean. But do you remember what is written? "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." This weapon was formed, yes, but it will not prosper. Still, my child, you must remain. Because if you skip this message, you step away from the very shield that God is stretching over you right now. Michael says, Stay. Do not scroll away. Do not silence this voice. For the one who accused you thinks their plan is already sealed, but heaven has the power to overturn it if you hold your ground. Do you understand? The balance is fragile, your obedience to stay is your anchor. Let me tell you something you must not forget. There are moments in life where one choice, one decision, one act of obedience determines the course of everything that follows. This is one of those moments. You were not brought here by chance. You were guided here. Your angels have been whispering, tugging, pulling, because they knew this revelation must reach you. You have only minutes before the spiritual window closes, and if you do not open this fully, the warning dissolves. That is why the urgency in your spirit is so strong. And listen, because God does not only warn. He delivers. He restores. He multiplies. What was meant for your downfall, He will use for your elevation. What they whispered in dark corners, God will shout in light. The very lie they tried to bury you under will become the ladder that lifts you higher. Michael says, "Beloved, don't fear. The truth is not weak. The truth is a sword, and tonight I am wielding it in your defense. But before I continue deeper, hear me. These words you are receiving now are not just for today. Tomorrow there will be another plot. Next week another trap. Next month another lie. That is why you cannot walk unguarded. Stay covered. Subscribe, beloved. Subscribe because every message that flows here is not chance, it is rescue, it is direction, it is a map when the road is filled with fog. The ones who skip walk into walls. The ones who stay connected walk into doors. Do not cut yourself off from the stream of heaven. Now, let us return to the one who accused you. God says their name will not remain hidden for long. Already, cracks are forming around their plan. People are beginning to see inconsistencies in their story. Even those who joined in the whisper are doubting now. Because truth has a weight, and lies cannot carry it forever. Soon, the very person who wanted to see you locked away will be exposed for who they truly are. You will not need to fight with your hands. Heaven will fight for you. And when the exposure comes, you will rise with dignity intact, your name shining brighter than before. This, my child, is what the enemy fears most, that you will not fall. That instead of seeing you in chains, they will see you ascend. That their jealousy, which fueled this false accusation, will backfire and ignite your blessing. And that is why the urgency is so fierce. God does not want you caught off guard. Michael does not want you walking blindfolded into danger. They are crying out, "Stay awake. Stay alert. Do not skip. The truth is here, and it will save you." Beloved, this is only a fraction of what must be revealed. The scroll is long, the words are deep, and the warnings are many. But if you remain with me, line by line, paragraph by paragraph, you will not only know their name, you will also understand why heaven has chosen you, why the enemy fears you so much, and why your destiny cannot be stolen no matter how many lies are written against you. My beloved, do you realize how precious your name is in heaven? When you were born, angels carried your name to the throne of God, and He wrote it in His book with fire. That's why the enemy has always hated you. That's why people you trusted sometimes turned cold. That's why envy seemed to follow you when blessings touched your life. Because your name carries weight, it carries promise, destiny, light. And the darker the world grows, the brighter that light becomes, and the more it draws the attention of jealous hearts. This is why someone close to you decided to twist your name with lies. Not because you are guilty, but because your innocence shamed them. Not because you did wrong, but because your right living convicted them. They wanted to drag you low so their shadow would not look so dark beside you. God says, "Do not fear. My child, I will not allow your name to be chained." And Michael thunders, "I will split the sky if I must, but this false crime will not bury you." Even now, beloved, you are walking on a razor's edge of destiny. You may not see it, but the paperwork has been whispered, the story has been crafted, and the plot is near completion. Yet heaven has exposed it before the trap could close. That is why your spirit is stirred. That is why your chest feels tight, your mind uneasy, your nights restless. You sensed it. You knew something wasn't right. And now the confirmation has come. Think of this: if you skip, if you walk away, you are turning your back on the very key that unlocks your freedom. God has placed this message in front of you because He knows the power of revelation. To see a lie is to break its power. To hear heaven's warning is to cancel the devil's trap. This is your moment, your chance to step into safety before their lie becomes your sentence. But if you ignore, the shadows rejoice. They will say, "We fooled them. We blinded them. We made them scroll away." And then the enemy's false story gains ground. Beloved, do not let that happen. Michael says, "Stay. Do not leave. I have been waiting to reveal the truth." The accuser's name is not far from your ears now. It is close. The same lips that smiled at you spoke against you. The same hands that pretended to help were signing your downfall. Yet those hands will be exposed. Their smile will wither. Their lie will crack. And when it does, your name will rise even higher. Because this is the secret: God always turns attacks into testimonies. The same pit Joseph's brothers threw him into became the path to his throne. The same cross they nailed Jesus to became the doorway of resurrection. The same false crime written against you will become the platform for your blessing. But listen carefully, my child, blessing comes to those who stay awake. Do not slumber in this hour. Do not skip the words that heaven is breathing. Every sentence here is a shield forming around you. Every paragraph is a sword being sharpened. The longer you remain, the stronger your defense becomes. And hear me, this message is not just for now. There will be more warnings, more revelations, more truths. That is why you cannot walk alone. Subscribe, beloved. Stay covered under this stream. Do not wander in a world where the enemy plots daily, where lies are spun like webs. Keep yourself under the flow of heaven's words, because tomorrow may bring another plot, and you will need the next message to guard your steps. Now, beloved, let us go deeper. The accuser is not just an enemy, they are someone who once stood close. Their betrayal cuts because you never imagined their lips could form such lies. But heaven says, I saw it before it happened. I heard their whispers before they spoke. I will not allow them to finish what they began. That is why you are reading this now. Because the window is closing. The hour is late. And the lie is spreading. Yet heaven has declared, no, it stops here. My beloved, you must understand something so important. The battle against you is not because you are weak, it is because you are chosen. If you were ordinary, if your life had no weight, if your soul carried no light, the enemy would not waste his weapons on you. But because you are marked, because you are favored, because there is a crown waiting for you, the darkness cannot remain silent. The very reason you are attacked is proof that you carry treasure inside. The false accusation written against your name was never really about you, it was about what you carry. It was about silencing your voice, stopping your progress, crippling your spirit. But heaven says, it will not work. What I have anointed cannot be silenced. What I have blessed cannot be cursed. Child, I know the pain in your heart. Betrayal is heavier than chains. It wounds deeper than any blade. You trusted, you gave, you loved, and still they spoke against you. You looked at them with eyes of kindness, and they returned it with deceit. That is why it hurts so much. Because if a stranger had accused you, you could have brushed it away. But this one was not a stranger. They were close enough to know your name, close enough to know your story, close enough to pierce your heart. And yet, listen to this, they are not closer than God. They are not closer than Michael. They are not closer than the angels who walk beside you. They may have tried to touch your life, but heaven holds your soul in hands they cannot reach. Even now, heaven is tearing the veil off their face. Their lies are already trembling. Do you not feel it? That sudden sense that something hidden is surfacing? That is heaven pulling the curtain back. God says, I will not allow my child to walk blind into the snares of liars. You are being given insight before the storm strikes. This is not a message of fear, it is a message of preparation, a message of victory. Because the accuser's words cannot live in the light. When the truth comes, lies die. But child, you must stay in the light. That is why you are here. That is why you cannot skip. That is why this message burns with urgency. If you step away too soon, you walk into shadows unaware. But if you remain, line by line, you are covered, you are armed, you are shielded. Every moment you remain here is a moment the lie loses strength. Michael says, do not underestimate this moment. What is being written in heaven is greater than what was written by men. Stay under the shield. The sword is ready. The liar's time is short. And I must say this again, you cannot afford to drift alone. Stay connected. Subscribe, beloved. Each message that flows here is a divine rope, pulling you out of waters meant to drown you. Do not cut the rope. Do not silence the flow. Tomorrow, another lie could rise. Next week, another trap. But if you are covered, if you are connected, you will not be caught unaware. Remember, the one who walks with heaven never walks blind. Now listen carefully, because I will reveal something deeper. The accuser did not only plan to stain your name, they planned to profit from it. Their lie was designed not just to harm you, but to lift themselves. They believed that if you were silenced, they would shine. They believed that if you were chained, they would be free. But what they did not know is that you are not standing in your own strength. You are standing in God's covenant. And the covenant of God is not fragile. It cannot be broken by envy, it cannot be torn by lies, it cannot be stolen by betrayal. What God has written for you will outlive every false signature placed against your destiny. My child, I will tell you something you must never forget: lies always burn out. They may glow for a moment, they may seem convincing, they may sway crowds, but truth is eternal. And truth is on your side. Even if men believe the lie for a season, heaven will overturn it. Even if voices rise against you, God's voice is louder. Even if papers are signed against you, the book of life has already cleared your name. The one who accused you does not yet know the cost of touching God's anointed. They thought they were clever, but they have dug a pit too deep for themselves. The very trap they built will become their grave. And now, beloved, prepare your heart, because their name is not far from being revealed. Michael says, I hold it in my hand, and soon the scales of justice will tilt. God says, stay awake, stay present, and you will not be blindsided. The truth will come, and when it does, my child will rise higher. My beloved, you are standing in a sacred moment, a line drawn between danger and deliverance. In the natural world, people may think life changes slowly, but in the spirit realm, everything can change in an instant. One accusation can shift a future. One lie can stain a reputation. One false charge can send a life spiraling. But heaven does not permit injustice to rule forever. That is why your heart was led here. You are not just reading words, you are sitting in a courtroom of heaven. The judge is present. The advocate is present. And Michael, the warrior, is here, sword in hand, crying out, do not allow this moment to pass. Do not skip, or the lie gains strength. Remain, and truth will roar louder. Think of the cost if you were silent. Think of the pain if you were left unprotected. The one who accused you knows the power of words. They know how fragile society can be when lies are dressed as truth. They believed if they spoke loudly enough, if they spread their story far enough, you would be crushed under the weight of suspicion. They believed no one would defend you. But they miscalculated. They forgot you are not walking alone. They forgot your name is etched in fire upon heaven's book. They forgot God Himself takes false accusation personally when it is aimed at His child. Beloved, do you feel how serious this is? This is why your spirit trembles as you read. That trembling is not fear, it is recognition. It is your soul confirming that what you are hearing is real. This is your confirmation, your sign, your undeniable evidence that heaven is interrupting your path to keep you safe. The message is not here to scare you, it is here to spare you. That is why Michael said, only 2 minutes left. Because heaven knows the window for intervention is small, but it is still open. And now, hear me, you must understand the root of this attack. It was jealousy. It was envy. It was the silent bitterness of someone who watched you rise and could not stand it. They believed your fall would heal their wounded pride. They believed your chains would free them from their own shadows. But envy never wins. Envy destroys itself. They dug a pit, but pits have a way of swallowing the ones who dig them. They sharpened a knife, but knives cut those who wield them in hatred. This is why God says, "Do not fear, my child." Their plan is their downfall. Still, God asks you to remain awake. Do not scroll away, do not skip, do not silence heaven. Because your awareness is the key. Once you know, you cannot be trapped the same way. Once the veil is torn, you walk with open eyes. This message is the tearing of the veil. That is why you feel relief even in the urgency. Because something in your spirit knows, you are being saved before disaster strikes. Beloved, before I go deeper, let me remind you of this: do not disconnect from this flow. You need more than one warning. You need more than one message. The enemy does not rest, and so you cannot afford to drift uncovered. Stay subscribed. Stay anchored. Each word sent to you is a stone laid on your path, keeping you from falling into holes. Without it, the road is dark. With it, the road shines. If this message has reached you now, imagine what the next message might carry. Do not let your destiny walk unprotected. Now, I must reveal the weight of what comes. The accuser's name is not far from being exposed. Already, whispers are shifting. Already, those who listen to them are starting to question. Already, eyes are turning toward inconsistencies. The liar is nervous. Their nights are restless. Their conscience is pricked, though they try to silence it. Because the truth is not quiet. The truth shouts in silence. It presses on the guilty heart. It gnaws at their peace. And soon, it will not remain hidden. Soon, the liar will face the very shame they tried to place on you. And when that day comes, beloved, you will stand vindicated. You will stand cleared. You will stand brighter than before, because those who are purified by false accusations shine like gold tested in fire. And you, my child, are gold. You may not always feel it, but heaven knows it. That is why you were chosen to hear this, why this message came to you and not to another. Because you are in the furnace now, but you are not burning. You are being refined. The fire meant to consume you will only make you glow brighter. The false crime meant to bury you will only lift you higher. The name they tried to stain will gleam like a crown. My beloved, you must not underestimate what is happening right now. Do you realize how many times heaven tried to reach you before this? In your sleep, in sudden thoughts, in strange heaviness that sat on your chest for no reason, those were not accidents. Those were alarms. You brushed them off, you wondered if it was stress, you thought maybe it was just your mind. But now, the alarm has become a trumpet. This message is the trumpet. Michael is sounding it. God is pressing it against your heart. And the sound is this: do not allow the false accusation to become your destiny. Stay, remain, receive, and I will deliver you. The liar thought their words would wrap around you like a chain. They thought if they whispered enough, others would believe. They thought if they smiled at you while speaking against you behind your back, the disguise would remain strong. But heaven laughs at liars. Their words may travel fast, but truth travels farther. Their lies may deceive many, but truth cannot be silenced forever. Already, cracks are forming. Already, whispers are unraveling. Already, their story is breaking. And the more you stay here, the stronger the unraveling becomes. Do you see how urgent this is? Time is not on their side. But you must not give time to their lie either. The reason God says, "Only 2 minutes left," is because in the spirit world, windows close. Opportunities expire. Warnings fade. That is why you must remain alert. Your obedience to listen is your shield. Your decision to remain is your rescue. Michael says, "If my child will not skip, the truth will roar like thunder, and the false name spoken against them will collapse into dust." Beloved, I know your heart aches. You feel the weight of betrayal, the sting of lies, the fear of shame. But God says, "Do not carry it. Place it on me. I am your defender." You do not have to fight with your own hands. You do not have to prove your innocence by screaming louder than the liar. You only need to stay in the light, and heaven will fight for you. God Himself will prove your innocence. Michael will swing the sword. The angels will expose the shadows. And you, yes, you, will walk free. But freedom requires faithfulness. Do not cut this short. Do not walk away before the revelation comes. If you stay, the liar's name will be revealed. If you remain, you will not be blindsided. If you hold on, you will watch the one who accused you crumble under their own words. That is why this message is long, because heaven is building a fortress around you with every sentence. Each paragraph is another wall rising, another arrow sharpened, another shield lifted. Stay until the fortress is complete. And child, remember this: what you are facing now is not the last battle. There will be more. Envy does not sleep. Jealousy does not die easily. That is why you must stay covered. Do not drift after this message is done. Subscribe, beloved. Anchor yourself here. Because today it is a false crime. Tomorrow it may be a betrayal in love. Next month it may be a trap in finances. But if you remain under the shield of these words, every trap will be broken before it reaches you. This is not just about now, it is about your entire destiny. Now, let us go deeper still. The accuser's name is heavy on the tongue of heaven. Michael holds it, and when the time comes, it will be shouted. But know this: when their name is revealed, your world will shake. Because you did not expect it. You did not think they could do this to you. That is why it will hurt, but it will also heal. Because truth heals, even when it hurts. And once it is revealed, the pain will pass, and the freedom will remain. You will look back on this day not as the day of your downfall, but as the day of your deliverance. My beloved, there is something you must understand about this moment. What is happening to you is not new, it has happened to every chosen one throughout history. Joseph was accused falsely by Potiphar's wife, and he was thrown into prison for a crime he never committed. Daniel was accused falsely by jealous officials, and he was thrown into the lion's den. Jesus himself was accused falsely by priests who envied his authority, and he was crucified though he was without sin. Do you see the pattern, my child? False accusation always hunts the chosen. Lies always chase the anointed. Betrayal always seeks to strike those who carry heaven's favor. And yet, in every case, the false charge did not bury them. It became the very platform of their rising. Joseph left the prison to enter Pharaoh's palace. Daniel left the den untouched, and his accusers were devoured instead. Jesus rose from the tomb, and his resurrection shook the world forever. This is why you must not panic. Yes, the lie is dangerous. Yes, the crime written against your name is serious. But you are not the first to be accused, and you will not be the first to be delivered. Heaven has already written your ending, and it is not chains, it is freedom. It is not shame, it is honor. It is not defeat, it is testimony. But you must remain in this revelation. You must not scroll away. You must not silence the voice crying for your safety. For the window is small, and if you ignore it, you risk walking blind into the trap that has already been set. Michael speaks with urgency. Beloved, the liar thought their whisper would never reach your ears. They thought their scheme would remain hidden until it was too late. But here I am, sword in hand, pulling back the curtain. Do not waste this moment. Do not skip this message, or the one who accused you will succeed in pulling you down. These are not light words. They are the shouts of heaven. They are your lifeline. Do you feel that stirring in your spirit? That restless fire as you read? That is God Himself breathing confirmation into your soul. You already suspected someone. You already felt a heaviness around them, though you could not explain it. You already noticed signs, the way their eyes shifted, the way their words twisted, the way their smile seemed hollow. And now, heaven is confirming what your heart already knew: they are the one. They are the accuser. They are the betrayer. And their name will not remain hidden for long. Child, I must tell you something else. This attack was not random. It was timed. They waited until they thought you were weak. They waited until you were distracted, until you were focused elsewhere, until your guard was down. They chose this moment because they believed it would hit hardest. But God says, I saw their timing. I will overturn it. What they thought was the perfect moment to destroy you will become the perfect moment to display my power in your life. You must hold this truth close: the darker the lie, the brighter the light of vindication. When the truth comes, it will not only clear your name, it will expose theirs. And when it does, those who doubted you will honor you. Those who whispered against you will fall silent. Those who tried to bury you will watch you stand taller than ever. That is the justice of heaven. That is the promise sealed over your life. But beloved, stay close. This message is not finished. Do not walk away before the fortress is complete. Each word you receive builds a wall around you. Each line you remain strengthens your shield. If you skip, the wall is left unfinished, and the arrows of lies can pierce. But if you remain until the end, the fortress will be unbreakable. Michael says, "Stay, beloved. Only then will you see the liar fall." My beloved. The enemy thought their whisper would go unnoticed. They thought the darkness they wrapped around your name would stay hidden. But light cannot be hidden. Do you see how God works? He does not allow shadows to rule forever. A lie can stand for a season, but it cannot live for eternity. And in your life, the time of lies is ending. The false charge written against you is trembling even as you read this. The liar feels it, though they don't understand why. Their nights are uneasy, their spirit is restless, their confidence is cracking. Because truth is pressing at the edges of their disguise. Do not fear what they said about you. Fear only what you would lose if you turned away from this revelation. Michael is pleading because he sees the papers. He sees the signatures. He sees the trap they laid, ready to spring. But he also sees the fire of God hovering above you, ready to burn the snare to ashes, if you stay here, if you remain, if you let heaven finish what it started. Child, this is what makes your story powerful. You are not defined by what they say. You are defined by who you are in God's eyes. They may call you criminal, but God calls you chosen. They may call you guilty, but God calls you righteous. They may call you weak, but God calls you beloved. Do not let their words stain you. Let God's words cleanse you. That is the difference between bondage and freedom. And you are meant for freedom. But I must tell you something difficult. When the truth comes, you will be shocked. Because the accuser is not far. They are not a stranger. They are not distant. They are someone close, someone you trusted, someone you allowed into the circle of your life. That is why the betrayal cuts so deep. That is why it feels like a knife you did not see coming. But do not let the shock break you. Let it free you. For once the truth is revealed, you will see that their smile was a mask, their kindness was a performance, their friendship was an act. And when you see it clearly, you will be healed. God says, "My child, I beg you, don't skip this. Don't turn away. Because if you leave before the revelation is complete, you will walk blind into their snare." Michael says, the truth is at the edge of your vision. Do not close your eyes now. Beloved, this is why you must remain. The story is not finished, and the ending is victory, but only if you stay with heaven until the end. Think of Joseph again. When he was accused, he could have despaired. He could have given up, saying, "What is the point? My life is ruined." But he held on. And because he held on, the prison became the doorway to the palace. Do you see? What was meant for his downfall became the very thing that lifted him. That is what will happen to you. The false charge will not bury you, it will raise you. The lie will not weaken you, it will make your testimony unshakable. And those who laughed at you will see the glory of God on your life. But you must not give up early. You must not silence this voice. Stay. Remain. Let heaven complete what it began. My beloved, do not be afraid of the shadow that tried to cover you. The shadow is loud, but it is not eternal. Do you not remember what is written? The truth shall set you free. Lies are cages, but truth is the key that breaks them. And today, that key has been placed in your hand. God is saying, do not let fear choke you. Do not let anxiety consume you. Stand still, and watch my salvation. Michael is adding, Beloved, I am standing guard. No lie shall bind you if you remain here. But if you walk away, if you skip, you walk into danger uncovered. The one who accused you underestimated the hand of heaven. They thought their story would spread faster than truth. They thought their false charge would stick longer than God's blessing. But they were wrong. Lies may have speed, but truth has endurance. Lies may deceive the crowd, but truth speaks to the soul. And when the soul hears truth, no lie can remain. This is why you feel such power even now, as you read. Because your soul recognizes the voice of truth, and it is shaking loose the chains they tried to put around you. Child, you may be asking, why me? Why am I always the target? Why do lies chase me? Why do betrayals follow me? And heaven answers, because you are chosen. Because you are anointed. Because you carry light that darkness fears. Do not mistake attack for abandonment. If you were abandoned, no one would bother to fight you. It is because you are chosen that the arrows come. But it is also because you are chosen that the arrows will break. Michael is crying out, Stay. Do not skip. Stay until the end, for the liar's name is written before me. And soon, it will be revealed. You are closer than you know. The veil is thinning. The mask is slipping. The one who betrayed you is already trembling. They feel the heat of exposure, though they do not admit it. And when the moment comes, their name will fall like a stone, and your name will rise like the sun. But before that happens, you must remain in this covering. This message is not just words, it is a shield. Every line you remain under builds a wall between you and the lie. Every moment you listen pushes back the shadows. Do not leave before the fortress is complete. My beloved, the world may write accusations on paper, but heaven writes truth on stone. Paper burns. Stone endures. Their signature is temporary. God's covenant is eternal. And this covenant over your life cannot be undone. It is written in the blood of sacrifice, sealed by the fire of Spirit, guarded by the sword of Michael. That is why, even though their lie feels strong, it is weak compared to the eternal decree written in heaven about you. The liar is confident now, but their confidence is built on sand. Do you remember what happens to houses built on sand? The storm comes, and they collapse. That storm is already rising. They do not see it yet, but their time is short. For the one who touched God's anointed, the one who smeared his child's name, the one who tried to stain innocence, there is no hiding from judgment. Heaven is slow to anger, but once it moves, nothing can stop it. Child, this is why Michael says, only 2 minutes left. Because justice is not far. Exposure is not distant. But you must be awake to see it. If you turn away now, you will miss the sight of your vindication. And the vindication is coming quickly. Do not think that your tears have gone unseen. Every night you cried, every moment you felt the weight of their betrayal, every whisper you heard behind your back, heaven counted them. The tears you shed in secret are the evidence God brings into his courtroom. He says, I saw, I heard, I will repay. He does not forget his children. He does not abandon his beloved. And you are his beloved. The accuser's name is heavy, and when it falls, it will fall loudly. People will be shocked. Some will say, how could it be them? But you will not be shocked, you already felt it. Your spirit already knew. And when it happens, you will not only be cleared, you will be lifted. Because this is how God works, he takes what the enemy meant for harm and turns it for good. But beloved, stay covered. Don't just listen once and drift away. You need the flow of heaven daily, not just occasionally. Subscribe, anchor yourself here. Every word is protection, every message is a shield, every revelation is a sword. The enemy plots constantly, so must you remain constantly under God's covering.